We are looking at the possibility of snow. I know, heaven forbid this would happen in January, that a little bit of snow comes our way, and little is going to be the operative word for this. It is not going to be a lot, and it's also in a fairly narrow band. So let's take a look at the advisory here. It covers a couple of dozen counties-ish. If you want to try and do a geographic outline instead of naming every one of these counties, so hopefully you know which one you're in. So we'll go from we're going west I-75, Highway 52, from there to Highway 80. So that's roughly your western section. East of I-75, it's roughly the Mountain Parkway to the Hal Rogers Parkway. Again, those are your rough boundaries for this. In this area is your best chance of seeing some accumulating snow later on tonight. It'll be a slushy snow, as temperatures aren't going to be really all that cold, and the road temperatures are not going to be all that conducive either. But that being said, there may be some times where it falls fast enough to overcome the marginal temperatures. So the back edge of the accumulation, I-75-ish, may come a little bit further to the west. You see that centering somewhere around Breathitt County. That line may oscillate 10, 15 miles, but the whole thing is only 30, 40 miles wide at most, so there you go. And looking at the road temperatures as we go from midnight, you see those temperatures remaining marginal. So again, what falls, most of it will melt on the way down, but that said, there may be some times where it falls fast enough to overcome the melting. So there is your 7 in the morning, where you're seeing the greatest coverage of road temperatures that are close to freezing. On the MAXTRACK Live Doppler now, there is nothing going on. It is quiet as can be for us. But if you are out driving late tonight, early tomorrow, we're talking the morning commute, 7-ish, plus or minus a couple hours. And when you're driving in that, it's the usual stuff we talk about. Accelerate, decelerate slowly. You don't want to try and spin the tires too much there. Slow down, and that includes SUVs. Don't lock up your brakes at all. Increase your following distance so you have more chance to stop. And then finally, try not to stop when you're going uphill. You don't want to lose that momentum and start back down in a slide. Birds are flying around the Lexington Financial Center as we look off to the northeast under that beautiful clear sky. And so just a little bit of winter tonight for some. Through the middle of the week, seasonally mild and dry. Late this week into the weekend, it gets really warm, and there's significant rain possible. So here's what's going on tonight. There's an upper level system that'll be coming right over Kentucky. What that does, it brings a little pocket of cold air with it aloft. But what it also does, it brings dynamics. When you were talking that, you're making the air rise. When you make air rise through the entire column, you chill the column of air, and that might get those temperatures just cold enough that with that dynamic cooling, that little corridor of snow becomes a possibility. And we're talking about what's out there. Right now, there is not much. You're seeing this little system coming out of Iowa, Missouri. As we go through the rest of tonight, it will eventually turn into an area of low pressure that will work its way across Tennessee. As it does so in the hours around midnight, rain begins to increase. By the time we get you then into the early morning, that dynamic cooling begins to kick in. That rain could change over to a brief period of snow. And again, with the dynamics, may come down just hard enough to overcome the marginal temperatures. But again, it's out of here quickly, setting the stage for a good-looking middle of the week. Right now, your temperatures are running in the 40s, so obviously way too warm for anything aside for a little rain that starts the whole thing. But then the snow advisory kicks in for some. Overnight lows will be around 30. That light rain may change to snow with minor accumulations possible. The snow advisory early. Light snow and or rain ends. Turns into a pretty decent afternoon with temperatures in the mid-40s. We continue through the rest of your 8-day. Mid-40s again, a dry day on Wednesday. Look at the warm-up coming into the weekend. Unfortunately, that warm-up also comes with the potential for a lot of water.
Ooh.